Since the selection of Prince Tsola Emiko as the Olu of Warri-designate some months ago, his selection to ascend the throne of the Itsekiri Kingdom in Delta State has been immersed in controversy. Despite efforts by critical stakeholders and traditional rulers in the state to resolve the opposition to his forthcoming coronation on August 21, the Ologbotsere, or traditional Prime Minister of Warri, Chief Ayirimi Emami, has refused to withdraw a lawsuit challenging Prince Emiko's claim to the Warri throne. Emami has insisted on adherence to a 1979 edict of the defunct Bendel State Edict as applicable to present-day Delta State, which stipulates the process of ascension to the throne. According to him, the disqualification of Prince Emiko as Omoba was first done in 2015 over failure to meet the criteria to succeed his late father, Olu of Warri, Ogiame Atuwatse II, owing to the fact that his mother is Yoruba and not of Benin origin. Emami's opposition, however, may be in conflict with the Nigerian Constitution, which clearly states that no citizen shall be discriminated against based on his or her state of origin, or in this case, the origin of his mother's birthplace. To discuss how he intends to succeed in his quest against the coronation of Prince Emiko, we are now being joined by Eyengho, spokesperson for the Ologbotsere descendants worldwide of Itsekiri Kingdom. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Mr. Eyengho.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Abati. Hi, Rufai, and hi, Adesua. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Well, I mean, after the announcement of Prince Tsola Emiko as the Olu designate, everyone thought that, the matter had been settled. But yet there is this case that has been, filed by the Ologbotsere Ayirimi Emami. And you are the spokesperson for the Ologbotsere descendants. What are the issues, really? And part of it, to outsiders like us, is that section of the Constitution that I referred to, Section 42 of the Nigerian Constitution, which says nobody, should be discriminated against on the basis of sex, religion, belief, or circumstances of birth. It seems that the strong argument by the Ologbotsere in this case is that, going by the edict of 1979, that the Olu designate, his mom is not is not Itsekiri, that she's Yoruba. If you could just enlighten us further.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Let me take off from where you just landed and the issue of Section 42 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I will say straight away, I'm not a lawyer, but I will say straight away that every traditional matters are not stricto sensu, covered by the Constitution. Let me even go by your argument over that section to let you know that that section is of no effect on the extant laws as it concerns the succession to various thrones in Nigeria, including that of Warri Kingdom. What you are saying, if we are going by that section 42, is that you, Dr. Ruben Abati, because you are guaranteed you should not be discriminated against and all of that, that means you are qualified to contest for the throne of the Olu of Warri Kingdom. That's what it means. It means that every female, too, is qualified to contest for the throne of the Olu of Warri Kingdom, when we know that women are totally barred from contesting or from putting themselves forward for the throne of the Olu of Warri Kingdom, because we have an extant law, just like every other kingdom. Just like every other kingdom, because if you go by what you are saying, that's Section 42, which is not really applicable to the extant law guiding the succession to the throne of Warri Kingdom and several other kingdoms, it means that just anybody can now become Olu of Warri, whether you are Hausa, Igbo, Ijaw, Yoruba. So, for me, That settles that. And we have sought legal opinion from experts, from senior advocates of Nigeria. And so that section 42 is not applicable and is not in conflict, with the extant law that guides the succession to the Olu of Warri throne. What is happening just straight away is that we have a law. I am here not to speak about persons. I want to speak to issues. And I have submitted some of the documents to you ahead of time, and I will just take them one after the other. The Warri Kingdom has, like every other kingdom, the Warri Kingdom have what you have just even referred to, the edict. The edict, which is a proclamation under Section 8 of the Traditional Rulers and Chief Edict, 1979, Bendel State, as applicable in Edo State and Delta State today. That is the Bible for the succession to the throne of the Olu of Warri. And the head of that process is the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom. In this case, the current Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, Chief Ayirimi Emami. And I know you have a copy of the proclamation to this edict. And when you look at it, it's just one-page document, 10 paragraphs. The Ologbotsere has very clear role to play. People are now angry. Truth most times don't have friends or have very little friends. People are angry, or some people are angry because the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, Chief Ayirimi Emami, has said, we have an extant law. Let us follow it stricto sensu. Let us follow it as it was followed in 1987 when Ogiame Atuwatse II was crowned, as it was followed in 2015 when His Majesty Ogiame Atuwatse was crowned. It is this same edict or proclamation to this edict that was followed in these two instances. So he has said it should be followed. And it's not just about him, and we must make this very clear. It's not about Chief Ayirimi Emami as the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom. We have what you call the Olu Advisory Council, made up of 5 statutory plus 2, making 7. Out of the 7 of them, when they met, only 1 who was absent at the meeting. 6 of them agreed that the law, the extant law, must be followed. 6 of them. And who are the statutory member of the Olu Advisory Council? That's the Ologbotsere, the Iyasere, the Onwagwe, the Ojomo, the Oshodi, and 2 others who, in the wisdom of the Ologbotsere, as enshrined in the law I'm referring to, can co-opt 2 people, which he did. So out of 7, 1 was absent, 6 said, let's follow the extant law. Not only that, you have Council of Chiefs, about 70 of them, but at a meeting in line with the extant law, Ologbotsere summoned a meeting of the Council of Chiefs. 52 of them attended that meeting. The minutes are there. They are there. Out of the 52 of them, only two opposed following the extant law. 50 out of 52 said follow the extant law, which is the proclamation to the edict. So, but it's okay for some of them now who are now on the other side to, for whatever reason, say, oh, it's all about Ologbotsere Ayirimi Emami, he does not want Tsola, and all of that, he does not want Prince Tsola Emiko. But it is not Chief Ayirimi Emami or the Olu Advisory Council or the Council of Chiefs that disqualified Prince Tsola Emiko. It is the same reason why Prince Tsola Emiko was disqualified in 2015, that he was also disqualified this year. And Chief Ayirimi Emami, when that law was amended in 1979, I'm sure Chief Ayirimi Emami will be about 3 or 4 years old then. He didn't make that law. His own father, Chief Akoma, his own father, Chief Emami, who was a chief then, did not make that law. I did not make that law. That is the extant law. And the young man, the young chief, the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, has said, look, let us follow the law. And he followed it very strictly, very religiously. to the stage, to a point before what I would describe as a palace coup took place. Before because it was a palace coup. On the 7th of January, in line with the extant law, Chief Ayirimi Emami wrote a letter to the Ginwa One ruling house. He wrote a letter to them, inviting them to a meeting. This is a copy of the letter, and I'm sure you have it. On the 9th of January, the meeting held at the palace, where the members of the Ginwa ruling house were informed that the Olu, Ogiame Atuwatse, was indisposed. And he now, in line with the extant law, told the Ginwa ruling house to get themselves together and give to him Olorebi or Larebi as enshrined in the law. They did not bring the Olorebi as enshrined in the law until after over a month because of disagreement among members of the Ginwa ruling house. As a matter of fact, when they will, it took them over a month before they could get Olorebi, which in English parlance you call regent, the regent. It took them over a month because some people are talking here and there that Chief Ayirimi Emami delayed the process. How? When it took over a month, going to 2 months, for them, the Ginwa ruling house, to get an Olorebi or a regent in place. Not only that, after wasting all that time, it took them another long period of time to get nominations, to submit Olu-designate, as it were, to the Ologbotsere as enshrined in the extant law. And when they would submit nominees, they submitted 2 nominees.
Mr.
This
Eyengho,
is very important. Two nominees.
Mr. Eyengho,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. We need to take a short break.
Thank you.
When we return, the conversation will continue. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Our guest is still Alex Eyengho, spokesperson for the Ologbotsere descendants of Warri Kingdom. Mr. Eyengho, thank you very much for staying with us. Please, if you may just continue from where you stopped.
Thank you. So, like I said, when they will submit nominees, that's the Ginwa ruling house, they did not just submit one because they have factions amongst themselves. They submitted 2 nominees. That's Prince Tsola Emiko. This is the letter with which they submitted the name of Prince Tsola Emiko. On the 18th of February, they submitted his name. The other faction, led by Chief Dimeyi Akoma, who is the Olorebi of Ginwa ruling house, submitted Prince Oyewole Emiko to the Ologbotsere, and that is the Olu Advisory Council. So they submitted 2 names to him. Not only that, Chief Akoma, the Olorebi of Ginwa ruling house, wrote to withdraw and discredit the nomination made by Prince Emmanuel Okotebo, who nominated Prince Tsola Emiko. So, I mean, and that is why if you watch, as we speak, as of today, and I know most of you must have seen it on various social media, we have 2 Omobas in Warri Kingdom as of today. Prince Oyewole Emiko is observing his own Idanike. Prince Tsola Emiko is observing his own Idanike. That is the situation we are in today.
Okay.
And that's a statement of fact.
And that's where I'd like to pick it up from, because for the Itsekiri people, they already have a king. And correct me if I'm wrong, the Omoba, the crown prince, has already gone through a process. And so the coronation will be merely ceremonial. If that has happened, why is the Ologbotsere descendant still up in arms?
Well, first and foremost, nobody is up in arms. Nobody is up in arms. The Ologbotsere descendants, as a family, have nothing. Absolutely nothing against Prince Tsola Emiko. We must make that clear. Neither does Chief Ayirimi Emami has anything against Prince Tsola Emiko. Nothing. In fact, if anybody is close to Prince Tsola Emiko, it's Chief Ayirimi Emami. He knows. Both of them knows. I must make that clear. We are in this situation. First, and again, it is not right to say when someone has gone to the Idanike, is already Ogiame. Look, there are instances in recent and past history where an Omoba who went through the entire Idanike process was never crowned an Olu, not as a result of death. I give you one instance. During the reign of Olu Akegbua, who was the longest reigning Olu in the history of Warri Kingdom today. He reigned for 50-something years. For 50-something years. He never participated in Idanike. It was his elder brother, Erefolua, that performed all the rites in Idanike. But at the end of the day, Erefolua was never crowned because the powers that be then did not allow it happen. This is a statement of fact. Then Erejuwa II, this most recent, Erejuwa II never performed Idanike. It was his elder brother, Ekpedure, that performed Idanike. That was Omoba, but he was never crowned the Olu of Warri. It was Erejuwa II that was crowned the Olu. I mean, these are historical facts. So it is very wrong and misinformation to say once you are an Omoba, you will be called, you are Ogiame. That is not correct. And Omoba is Omoba, Ogiame is Ogiame. Two different things. So we should not get it twisted.
Okay. Logically speaking, if you say there have been people that have become the Ogiame, Olu of Warri, without performing Idanike, does that mean also that there are people that can become the Olu of Warri, Ogiame, without the Ologbotsere doing his rights? Because that's what you've said historically. And this one you keep saying that there's no fight, it's a lie, sir. There's a fight on ground. No, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. There's a fight on ground. Don't call black blue for us. There's a power tussle. Those power tussle involve business interests. That's where the fight originated from. Okay, I withdraw the word saying, okay, it's a lie, but there are discordant tunes on ground. And the word around town is because there are strong business interests. That's what is happening out of, Warri, Ekurede, Shekiri. Those are the words around town on the street now.
Well, like I said, I will stay with the fact. I don't know. Of course, I never said that there are no issues. If there are no issues, people will not go to court. If there are no issues, Chief Ayirimi Emami will not go to court. And by the way, we have multiple cases. The immediate elder brother of the past Olu of Warri and the son of the Olu of Warri, they are also in court. Some other families are also filing in court. So there are issues. What I have said is that Chief Ayirimi Emami as a person has nothing against Tsola. I must make Prince Tsola Emiko. I must make that clear. Neither does the Ologbotsere descendants as a family have any personal thing against Prince Tsola Emiko. I must make that clear. What we are saying is that, and that is the position of the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, Chief Ayirimi Emami, that there is an extant law. We are not in a jungle. We are not in a kangaroo republic. The Warri Kingdom is an ancient and pristine kingdom that has existed over 500 years. And the succession to the throne of the Olu of Warri has been codified into a law of Bendel State as applicable in Edo and Delta State. Some people want to call it a piece of paper. It is not a piece of paper. The law is the law. When there is no law, there is no offense, no sin. But when you have a law, you must follow it. And I have just told you that it is this same law that was used to crown Atuwatse II. It is this same law that was used to crown the immediate past Olu of Warri.
Okay.
So that is the point we are making.
Mr. Alex, please answer my question. Since you've brought the technicality, because I know very well out of Warri that you need an Idaike before you can become an Ogiame. So since you've brought the technicality that hitherto you've had two people that didn't do the Idaike and they became Ogiame, why is there a need for the Ologbotsere to endorse somebody before he can become an Ogiame? So based on those two technicalities, then there is no need for the Ologbotsere to even preside in this. Since you say the ritual, the traditional ritual of Idaike, people have not done it in the past and they rule as Ogiame.
I made those comments very advisedly, and I gave the examples, and you can find out these are historical facts.
But
However, Rufai, those two instances, and there may be more, in, long in the days of yore, came up before the enactment of these procedures, succession procedures, into law in 1979 as amended. I must make that clear. It happened prior to having the processes codified into a law. But now, mind you, I said when there is no law, there is no offense or sin. But the moment you have a law, you must follow that law. And the law empowers, you have a copy of it, empowers the Ologbotsere to take all the steps he has been taking, the Ologbotsere and the Olu Advisory Council, which he is the chairman of that Olu Advisory Council, just like he is also the chairman of the Warri Council of Chiefs. He is empowered in the extant law. I think that is the important thing. And I have also said that the same law has been used to crown the two immediate past Olu of Warri Kingdom. So, for anybody to be blaming Chief Ayirimi Emami, the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, they are just being unfair to the young man. They are just being unfair to him.
Mr.
He's
Eyengho,
only saying, let us follow the law.
Mr. Eyengho.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, we are completely neutral in this matter. So,
I know.
Yeah, so don't get worried.
No.
First, is the Ologbotsere still the Ologbotsere? I thought that the Olu Advisory Council suspended him. Has that suspension, has it been lifted? Two, we were told that, the choice of Prince Tsola Emiko was done through the oracle. Is that true? Or it was just, chosen by some people? And then three, is anybody at all, in fact, taking any step to ensure peace and reconciliation now that a coronation date has been announced for August 21?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, it's not the Olu Advisory Council that suspended or purportedly suspend the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom. It is the Ginua ruling house who purportedly suspended the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, which is very laughable because for a better understanding, the Ginua ruling house are made up of prince and princesses of Warri Kingdom. Can the Ginua ruling house make anybody a chief? The smallest chief in Warri Kingdom? They cannot. They don't have such power. Therefore, you cannot take what you cannot give. They have no such power. The only authority that can suspend any chief at all in Warri Kingdom is the Olu of Warri. The Ginua ruling house, it was just a meddlesome, interloping exercise in futility. They have no such power to suspend any chief, not to talk of the Ologbotsere, who is the number one in terms of hierarchy of chieftaincy in Warri Kingdom. The young man, a friend and a brother, who read the purported press statement where they purportedly suspended the Ologbotsere, Barrister Tsola Emiko, this is the book he wrote. He wrote this book, which was trying to capture the processes that led to the crowning of Ogiame Atuwatse. And I gave you a copy of this book. Look at it. Written by him, where he stuck very strongly to the extant law. Just in 2015 here. This is the book. So, the Ginua ruling house, they have no such power. It was an exercise in futility. The Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, Chief Ayirimi Emami, remains the de facto and the de jure Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom. And it is only an Olu of Warri that can suspend him. And even traditionally, and I must make this clear, the Olu of Warri that can suspend Ologbotsere Ayirimi Emami in this case is not even the next Olu that will come. That is the tradition. It's the other Olu after the next one that can suspend him. That is an historical fact. That is the culture and that is the tradition of the people. So those who think a palace coup has removed Chief Ayirimi Emami or suspended him, they did it to orchestrate and to execute their palace coup, which was in the offing then. Secondly, the issue of the oracle. And again, the oracle issue is in the extant law. It's part of the processes. The question is, who supervise the oracle? That's the Ife oracle, which Yoruba call Ifa. Yes. Itsekiri call it Ife. Yeah. It's part of the process, I think in Article 7 or 6 or thereabout. It is the Ologbotsere, after the Omoba has been presented to him, Olu-designate has been presented to him by the Ginwa ruling house, it is the Ologbotsere that will supervise that process. The question is, did Chief Ayirimi Emami, the Ologbotsere of Warri Kingdom, supervise any such process? The answer is no. Because a palace coup was in the offing, they purportedly, very laughably suspended him, so to give way for their own person to come and perform the function that is statutorily embedded in the functions of the Ologbotsere of Warri. So, for me, Chief Ayirimi Emami, we have not even gone to the stage of the oracle, as far as we are concerned. There is what you call in Itsekiri, Ifeyin. That's when you are supposed to consult the oracle. You can do it on your own first, behind the scene. Perhaps that's what they did. As of today, they have not consulted the oracle as stipulated in the extant laws guiding the succession to the throne of the Olu of Warri, and this is a statement of fact. Then on the issue of reconciliation, we all want reconciliation. I want reconciliation. Yes, we have multiple cases in court. Yes, we have two Omobas, as it were. It's in the public domain. I know of a fact that efforts are being made by very well-meaning Itsekiri people, very high up, who are unbiased, who will look at the issues, because when something happens in Itsekiri, when we get to this kind of stage, we normally ask ourselves, how do we do it? How is it normally done if you are in this stage? And some well-meaning Itsekiri are beginning to handle this situation. And one of them is former governor of Delta State, Chief James Onanefe Ibori, whose mother is Itsekiri. He's very much interested. We were with him last week, and he's ready to even lead this peace and reconciliation move. Of course, his elder brother, also a former governor, Dr. Emmanuel Eweta Udwan, is also making some effort, and other well-meaning Itsekiri. So I believe that ultimately, we will get ourselves together, and this matter will be resolved. I believe so. I believe very strongly, and it will be done. And those who have gone to court, I know they did not go to court because they just wanted to. Mind you, Chief Ayirimi Emami was purportedly suspended since March, but he only went to court in July, meaning that he has given enough room for people to mediate. But the mediation was not making any headway, and that is why he had to go to court. So I believe we will resolve this matter internally as Itsekiri people, but it's only just important to come and clear the air as regards a lot of misinformation out there over the months.
Mr. Eyengho, before we wrap it up, will August 21 happen, the proposed coronation?
August 21 or any other such date will only happen, will be determined by the efforts of these mediators who are making effort. I'm aware of many of such efforts daily. That will be determined. The outcome of that effort will determine whatever date that has been penned down for the coronation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eyengho, for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.